you know better. So when those emotions start to move again, you can tell, like, oh man, this is definitely the emotion of an 8-year-old. Like, that's crazy. You have 8-year-old emotions crystallized in your body, dictating how you move in the world, literally, and you're trying to out mindset that. What's up, beautiful people? How are you doing today? So today I am sitting here, I'm doing my morning pages, I'm making some protein pancakes, doing a little stretching in the meantime. I can't tell where the camera is. Oh, it's right there. Doing some stretching in the meantime, and all of this while getting ready for work. I work from home. So today I really wanted to come on here and talk about emotional healing in the feminine space. So the world is all about the feminine. The world is all about the divine feminine. Let me go check my pancakes. Hold on. So yeah, as I was saying, I feel like the world is really about, the divine feminine and femininity and how do we become more feminine. And I've been on this journey for some time now. And every time that I think that I have it, more comes up. There's more to be done. There's more to be discovered. And so the first thing that I wanted to talk about was I recognize that when we're talking about femininity and we're talking about divine feminine, mainstream information is very much still mindset based. And if we're going to talk about the feminine, that's the emotional world. That's not the mental world. Like, of course, it's always going to be an 80-20 and everything because those two worlds are intermeshed. But a lot of femininity is coming off as mindset, even abundance. It's like the abundance mindset. But if we're coming at it from a feminine perspective, that's like an abundant being. That's emotion. We're speaking of the body here when we're speaking of the feminine. And I feel like we're just negating that. We're negating that very heavily. So anyways, I've been doing my morning pages. And something that has been really big for me, especially like I've struggled with dissociation. I haven't been, it took me so long. I was never an emotional person, which is crazy because when I was a kid, I was extremely sensitive. I was very emotional. And then just through social conditioning and trying to get along and be loved in your family, I just learned to kind of suppress those things. So I was never really a crier. At one point I could count on one hand how much I cried, which now that I think about it is not true. I used to do a lot of silent crying on my own when nobody knew. It's not funny, but it's funny now that I look back on it. Girl, pull it together. But I used to do a lot of silent crying basically. So, but within the past few years, it's been that I've been able to cry, just freely. If something pulls me to cry. And there's nothing wrong with those tears. I used to be that friend, if you cried around me, it kind of I didn't know what to do because I wasn't comfortable in that space, which is, it flabbergasted me just because I remember how sensitive I was as a kid, how I had became so almost emotionally sterile, it's wild. But anyways, I really just wanted to make that distinction and point that out because doing the journaling is great, but the journaling also has to be paired with the emotional work, sitting with those emotions, softening the body, okay? Because there's a lot for women. We have so much trauma that's stored in our body, trauma, memories, experiences, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. All of this stuff is literally crystallized in our emotional states in our bodies. So as we go on the journey to become more feminine, it's basically the process of if it's 80-20, let's say a man is 80-20 masculine, feminine. So say the mental space is masculine. So he's 80% masculine, 20% feminine, which is the emotional space. If we're going over to the woman, she's 80% emotional, 20% mental. So when you have a woman who's higher in those mental spaces, she's more masculine. When we're trying to dial that back, that means that we have to go back into the body. We have to go back into the emotional space. That means that there's a lot of stuff down there crystallized, hardened in there. Let me go get my pancakes. So like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff in the emotional space that you know better mentally. Mentally, you know better. You know that you're good enough. You know that you're worthy. You know that you're that girl mentally. The story that's playing out emotionally is completely different for most people. If you are living a life where you know better, you know all of the things to do, and you're not experiencing that, that's because you're having a different experience in your body that you're unaware of, that is manifesting in your life. But your body, the algorithm that your body is running on, the emotional state that your body is running on, the tension that your body is, that's constricting your movement, all of those things are affecting your everyday, day-to-day life. And like mainstream, most of the content out there is like, it's your mindset, it's your mindset, it's your mindset. And it's crazy because I was believing that as well, because it is your mindset, but there's a lot of things that I have worked on in mindset and it's still not trickling over, or it's trickling in slowly. It's because my mindset gets, okay, that I'm worthy, but my body is still crystallized, stuck in, frozen in a time when I did not feel worthy. So I can't change my mindset, and then that doesn't melt the emotional freeze. You know, you have to go in and deal with the emotional space, which is simply sitting there and feeling. That's all you have to do, is sit there and feel. And that melts the crystallization, that melts the iciness, we'll say, and it causes those emotions to move again. Then they can move up and out. And it's wonderful because now you know better. Mentally, you know better. Before, you was probably a kid, you weren't sure, you weren't, you know, that solid in yourself. But now here we are, most of us grown women growing into women, you know better. So when those emotions start to move again, you can tell like, oh man, this is definitely the emotion of an 8-year-old. Like, that's crazy. You have 8-year-old emotions crystallized in your body, dictating how you move in the world, literally, and you're trying to out-mindset that. No. Feel the emotions, journal the emotions out. But you really just have to go through that process of just sitting there with them and allowing them to move. Because once you give them the attention that they require, they're designed to move. They were never designed to get stuck in you. You held on to those things. So once you finally decide to, you know what, let me look at you, that allows it to move. It's gonna go up and out. And it doesn't take, you can do it in a day. Some things have taken me a couple of days, or I've gotten through, let's say 60% of it. And then it still takes maybe 3 more days to get through the rest. But that's it as far as emotional healing goes. But we're so scared of that. We're so scared of that. So I think that that's super important if we want to be feminine, if we want to be on the feminine journey or whatever, or if we just want to grow as women. You have to start dealing with your emotional space. Mindset is important, like I said, yes it is, but it's still the 20%, especially as a woman. 80% is your emotions holding you in basically a cast. It holds your body, it holds your embodiment in a cast of the past that you're trying to use your mindset to break. But it's not your mindset that's the problem. You did your mindset work. That's not the problem anymore. It's the emotions that haven't caught up. Look at the stuff to move it so that those emotions that need to move, that you're holding on to, can meet the new mindset and transmute into something more beautiful that you're desiring. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.